Oh, hi! Today I'm going to show you so many things. I'm basically doing this as a test run to see how like a Etsy product launch lookbook type thing goes. So those of you that are willing to give me feedback at the end of this, I would so appreciate your thoughts because I'm testing the waters. And also this seemed like a really cool way to show you some of the stuff I'm listing in my Etsy shop. Some things are brand new to the shop that I haven't shown before. And honestly, some of them I made about 6 months ago and just haven't posted anywhere. I've just been selling them in person. P.S. Thank you to everyone that came to GraniteCon. It was a wonderful event. And if you didn't make it to that and are around the southern New Hampshire area, especially if you're going to a brewfest called Dairy After Dark this coming Saturday, September 21st, I'm going to be set up across the street during the day selling stuff. And if you have alterations or hemming jobs you need to drop off, my body is rejecting the sales pitch I'm trying to get through. Anyway, if you're around the area and you want to come, even hang out and just say hi, I'd love to see people if you're out and about. They're doing a bunch of free stuff in the park down the street. I'll be in front of Dware Distilling, which is right next to Cask and Vine, which is the best beer bar, although they're going to be closed that day because they're working the Brewfest. So that's not a sales pitch for you. But there is a martini bar across the street if you're looking for drinky drinks. Also, if you want to meet Bert, I'm going to try to bring him with me and see how he does at an event like that, because it'd be super nice to bring him to the dog-friendly ones that I work, because I miss him on days that I'm gone. Like this past weekend, I was so bummed to not have him with me at the convention. Anyways, yes, so I will have all of this stuff available at the event this weekend if you want to check any of it out in person, because I know online shopping for clothes, because these are all garment things, I totally get it. I almost never shop online, so do as I say, not as I do. Let's get into the actual things. I'm gonna get right to the most exciting things first. I've had these kigurumis up in my shop pretty much the whole of 2019, but now that we're getting back into colder months, I figure it would be good to remind everybody. They're all made to order in my Etsy shop, and it's free shipping anywhere in the United States for every single item that I'm listing, so that's included in the price. So if some of them seem a little higher, is just because shipping is accounted for in the total amount you will be paying for it. So there's not a separate shipping cost. You understand what free shipping means. So yes, as you're seeing, I have the Pikachu one, which has pockets and is way too big for me. So I definitely need to sell this one so I can buy material to make myself a me size one. And then there's this fucking Totoro. I love it so much. This one is also too big for me, but I am deeply tempted to keep this one. I have enough of the fuzzy material on the front to make a few more of these. So if you want a custom one, it's better to get it sooner than later. And I am also going to make myself one of these, which will be taking up some of this material. So like, if you want one, let's talk soon. Then we get into the thing that I get most pumped about this time of year is Hogwarts robes, because they're just the best. Few things get me more excited about the fall and Halloween than Hogwarts robes. These are the kind of bare bones versions that I'm selling for cheaper, because I know the fully lined with pockets and a clasp version is a little too expensive for some people, so I wanted to make just a cheaper, more affordable version. So if you're just doing it for a one night costume, if those are still too far out of your price range, I also came up with some flannel, fully reversible hooded capelets. These are just the right amount of toasty because they're not super long, so it's good, especially on those blustery fall days. I'm excited to have my own Hufflepuff one of these, but I of course have them in every color, and like I said, they're all reversible. So if you want to have a more muted, subtle Slytherin representation, you can, but if you want to go full hog and tell every single person you see that you're a Ravenclaw, you can flip it out with the secondary color on the outside. Basically, I didn't treat either side like a lining. Both are outer shells. Mush together. I definitely just stabbed myself in the lip with my nail. I'm just so excited about everything. Okay, I'm gonna hold my hands behind my back and not keep flailing. So, what else did we do? Oh, I have a couple things I've worn as costumes before, but I'm retiring out of my own circulation, so I figured I'd offer them. I did have a Sally the Ragdoll dress out, but I ended up putting that into the scrap pile because it just isn't of good quality. It was one of the first full costumes I ever made myself, and it is adorable, and I like it, but it also has paint on the side, and I couldn't cover it up well, and it's pretty prominent, and if I'm gonna re-sew anything on there, I might as well just make a whole new one and make it a lot nicer, because the collar is all worn out and wonky and everything, and I'm proud of it for the stepping stone that it was for me in my sewing journey, but it is now going to be used for dog toy stuffing. It'll live on elsewhere. But as for really dumb but delightful costumes, I am selling my hot rod jumpsuit. As with pretty much everything going forward, it's generally my size, which is like a medium to large women's, but I'm also very long, so this jumpsuit is like a little weird fitting on me, which is mostly why I'm selling it. Hot Rod is one of the funniest movies. I think it holds up pretty well. Danny McBride screaming, "I've been drinking green tea all day," is one of my favorite lines. I did used to wear a fake mustache with this, but I thought that would be kind of a gross thing to pass on to someone else. So it's just the jumpsuit, and I'm also throwing in the cape because it's just delightfully dumb. Speaking of jumpsuits, I am selling my Kaylee Fry jumpsuit. Same kind of deal. My torso is just a little too long for this, so it's not the most comfortable, but for anyone of a more normal height, this is gonna be very, very comfortable. It's really comfy with the elastic waist. It has pockets. I hand sewed all of these patches onto it, and it's a really great costume. I love it, and just thinking about Kaylee Fry makes me smile. She's the sweetest bean in the world, and I love her. One day I'm gonna make that big fluffy pink dress. It's gonna happen. Switching over to a more casual cosplay type thing, I did make what I'm calling an island time shirt. I did a video on this, and I meant to wear it when I saw My Brother and Me live a couple years ago, but I completely forgot, and I was so sad because I even made a little tiny Amelie in the pocket, and it makes me laugh. I'm a little horrified every time I find it because I forget that it's in there, and then I go to like dig around in the pocket and I'm like, oh, but it has a shrimp for the Shrimp Heaven Now joke. It has a snake for the Zag on 'em joke. You can tell what year I did that in, and it has a little glass shark on it, and I'm really proud of the design. I still have the stencil for it, and I want to miniify it and put it on some bags. Next up is another casual type of nod to one of my favorite fandoms. It's a Hufflepuff themed high-low crop top sweater that I added a beer patch to and did some heat transfer vinyl to get the butterbeer words above and below it. I think it's super cute. Again, I just have the world's longest torso, and crop tops do not work for me. It'd fit someone less lanky than I am, so it's in the medium range and is super, super soft wool, and it's really, really comfortable. The sleeves are a little bit too short for me too, but again, like, I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm a very large person, so objects are closer than they appear. No, that's not the right phrase. I should have had some bananas for scale. But yeah, anyway, it's really comfy. It's not a scratchy wool sweater, which is why I bought it in the first place. I thrifted it a couple years ago, and I was actually covering up a hole that was in the front with the beer patch, and then I kept calling it my butterbeer sweater, but it just looked like a beer stein because that's what it was, so then I actually added the butterbeer letters, and I love it so much. It's just not the right size for me, so that is ready to go out into the world. And then the last fandom specific outfit I have before we get into just plain old handmade clothing is this Deathly Hallows dress. If any of you watched my basically comeback video last summer, this was one of the first sewing projects I did after just a garbage year. It was really, really hard time for me, and it was kind of therapeutic making this dress. I learned a ton doing it. I never done anything with a facing before, and just not this kind of fit dress. The only reason I'm not keeping it is I'm gonna make myself the same style dress but with the fuller skirt, where I learned in making this dress that pencil style skirts just aren't for me. Much more into the gathered skirt style thing than the fitted pencil skirt style thing. But holy shit, this fabric makes me so happy. Absolutely adore this shade of green, so I'm glad I have enough fabric to make myself another one. But yeah, this one's going up in the Etsy shop. It's a little bittersweet selling some of these things because I'm really proud of how they came out, and they all have a lot of heart and soul put into them, and that one especially just because of where it fell in the timeline of me making things has an extra sentimental value because it came out really nice and it meant a lot to get through that project. So anyways, before we get too deep in the cheese, jumping back to reversible things for a minute, I do have this reversible shawl. It's actually out of reversible fabric, so it's just a single layer, and I didn't know reversible fabric existed, but it has these really thin stripes on one side, and it is this gorgeous like speckled black pattern on the other side, and I think it's absolutely stunning. The way I sewed the armholes closed and everything, it's fully reversible. I think they're called French seams, what I did, where I kind of like stitched it back and forth so there aren't any exposed edges regardless of which side is facing out. It was really, really fun to make. It's just not my style, but I think it is a good extra layer for people that are into shawl type things. So that's going up in the shop. Then I have this wool skirt that is absolutely adorable. I am tempted to keep this one, but I have a skirt that is the same style but a different type of fabric. It's like a plaid wool that I made from scratch. Both of them were made using material that was destined for the trash, so there is definitely an upcycling element to this, and I'm really glad that I got to turn it into something really gorgeous. And it has pockets, it has a little zip on the side, it fits like a 30-inch waist. I am a women's medium around and a women's large up and down, if that makes sense. Like I'm much too tall for most medium things, so I usually have to go to a large and then kind of take it in a bit, which is why I fucking make my own clothes in the first place, is because nothing fits. But this is like the perfect length and a really pretty wool. It's 100% wool. It's really smooth. It's not like a scratchy kind of wool at all. And it has this really cool kind of diamond pattern to it. It's hard to see when I'm further away from the camera, but here's a close-up to try to show it off a little better. It's just absolutely stunning fabric, and I can't believe it was gonna get thrown away. And last but not least, this fucking dress. I am really pumped with how it came out, but as shown in the video I did a couple weeks ago where I made it, it is too goddamn small for me. Like I can fit into it, but it looks like someone rammed me into one of those paper finger traps that you get stuck in because it constricts around your fingers as you try to pull it apart. That's how I feel when I'm in this dress. So definitely for a more size small. It's not super long. It hits me just above the knee, and I'm so bummed that this one doesn't fit me because I am so proud of how the edges are finished, how the side looks, how the whole thing came together. I definitely learned a lot making it, so making more for myself in the future. But yeah, it's just the most gorgeous color palette plaid, and it will look amazing on someone that isn't me. Okay, I think I covered everything. I know that was a lot, but I've been busting my ass, and now I actually have things to show for it, where I will be launching more stuff at the beginning of October. That will be more Halloween type jewelry, and I have some other accessory type things. And then once we're getting closer to winter, I have a bunch of ideas that are going to come out and things I'm going to bring back into the shop that I've had before and just kind of like let sit over the summer. Ideas are happening, and I'm excited about all of it. And huge thank you to everyone that has been supporting me so far. Even if you're just watching this, I understand a lot of the things I have, except the Hogwarts robes and the hooded capelets. Like hooded capelets are pretty much one size fits all because it just kind of sits on top of you, and the hoods are a little more oversized. So unless you're a teeny tiny child, which like, hey, I'll make kid sizes at some point also, or just ask me and we can do a custom one. The Hogwarts robes are kind of in a anywhere small to large adult range, and then if you need a bigger size or a longer length, it's all up for customization. Like I'm all for taking custom orders. Good grief, I am gonna stop talking and go eat some food. I honestly only started filming this before eating my lunch because I still had lipstick on it from taking these photos. Well, I'm gonna turn some of the screenshots into photos, but it's just video footage that you were seeing. I was a little more dolled up than usual, so I figured I'd do this filming bit before I gorge myself on pizza. Okay, ending the rambles now. I will see you all back here with an actual like let's make a thing video Saturday morning. Come see me in Derry, New Hampshire if you can. I'll be in front of Dware from about 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I think. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out. I got lipstick on my finger.